So, have you ever gone through physical therapy or some sort of rehab similar to that? Or have you even shadowed or interned at one of those types of facilities before? If you answered yes to any of those questions, then you should quickly realize and know exactly what I'm going to be talking about today. If the answer was no, it's okay, don't be alarmed. By the end of this video, you should know exactly what I'm discussing and should pick it out fairly quickly out in the public. So, I'm Taylor Birchwell, and today, as you can see, we're going to be talking about resistance band training, focused primarily more in the rehab type of it rather than just plain exercise. So, the objectives for today is we're going to go over the history, the purpose, the effectiveness, the types of bands there are, and their meaning. We're going to do some exercise examples for different areas of recovery. I'm going to show you a knee relief program and some possible side effects you may get with resistance bands. So first off, we have the history. With the history, it started back in the early 1900s. They started with surgical tubing. They primarily used it for exercise purposes, some rehabilitation purposes, but mainly for exercise. Then in the late 1900s, they used it primarily more for rehabilitation purposes rather than just plain exercise. However, they became fairly popular back in the 1990s. So if you all can remember your parents while growing up, your moms, your grandmas, whatever female, some males in your life, you always remember those really tacky, crazy workout videos that they used to watch. That is when the resistance bands became fairly popular because in those workout videos, they would use resistance bands. So if you think resistance bands, sometimes you think of those crazy 90s workouts when they're like pulling up on them and you thought they were going to break or snap in half because they were going super fast with it. Yeah, that's resistance bands. It's just a certain type of them. So the purpose of these is because they provide a low-cost alternative to machines. They're very accessible. You can purchase them anywhere online. You can also, if you go through rehab, most of the time your physical therapist or someone similar will give you your own resistance bands to use at home, and you get to keep them. They have a variety of different uses. You can do a full total body workout with them. They don't take up space because, well, it's a band or a cord. And you get full muscle recruitment with the area that you are targeting, and they're really simple to use. So the effectiveness of resistance bands, they are super effective, which is why in rehabilitation purposes and physical therapy clinics and anything like that, they use them. Because we take, let's say we have a highly skilled athlete, so before they get injured, they're very fast, very agile, flexible, everything, and then after, let's say they have a knee injury and they had to have surgery, they aren't as fast, they aren't as agile, they can't barely move. We use resistance bands to bring their speed back up, their agility back up, their fitness, their muscle strength, and a lot of kinetic and polymetrics with exercises with them. Uh, Everything just gets heightened, and we try to bring them back to how they were before they got injured, and sometimes we try to get them back better than how they were before. And it's all due to resistance bands. These things work. No matter how you use it, where you use it, they work. So we have a couple different types. So we have the corded ones and we have the flat bands. The flat bands are what you see here in the picture. The corded ones are basically, it looks just like a tube, and they have the same colors, same everything, same resistance, works just the same. Basically, corded ones we use more for upper body, and the flat ones we use more for lower body, and if we have to tie them around legs or ankles or something of the sorts, because you don't want to tie a cord around your ankle or your legs or something similar. So we have a couple different colors. We have yellow, red, green, blue, and black, and they progress in that order. So the yellow is the easiest and black is the hardest. In PT clinics, you use yellow first, and then you eventually graduate. You go to red, then green, then blue, then black. Normally, the way that I have noticed, because I've shadowed in multiple different PT clinics, and hopefully that's what I do in the future, whenever a patient breaks one, that's when you automatically know you need to increase it and go to the next band color. So you have different colors for different strengths, and the black one, yeah, you're like, oh, that's hard. Yeah, no, it's really hard, trust me. Super hard. So we have a couple exercises. So this one's for your shoulder. We have rows, extensions, abduction. Then we have scapula clockwise and scapula counterclockwise. And then we have lat pull downs. And you can use all of those with the corded bands. I know in the picture it shows just a regular band, but normally you'll attach it to something and use the corded ones because they are a little bit stronger on how to keep shape and stuff rather than the flat ones. But the picture is showing a row. Okay, and then we have some exercise examples for your hip. We have some X-walks, which is where you step on a flat band and you cross it in front, cross it behind, and then you do some side stepping, works your hips. We have some clamshells, which is what the picture is showing on your side. Normally, if you're starting out in rehab, you do it on supine. Then we have hip internal and external rotation. So basically, you're sitting on the edge of the bed or table or wherever. You have your legs dangling off, and then you have your legs like this, and then one of them comes up, and then that's your external rotation. And for your internal, your leg goes out. Then you can do it on both sides. So knee examples, we have knee extension. You can do this seated or standing. And this one is standing, of course. As you can see, you basically just pull your knee back, and it's just flexing everything up and down your leg. So then we have ankle four-way, which is where you get full range of motion in your ankle. So you go all the way around. You go up, down, sideways, sideways. So to our knee relief program, because I've had to go through this multiple times. I've had 2 knee surgeries and I've been in multiple PT clinics, and it's super fun. So we're going to do 3 sets of 10 for each. We're going to do a standing knee extension, which is what I just showed you on the knee example. We're going to have a supine hip extension, which is where you're laying down on your back, and then you basically just pull your knee towards you with the band around your foot, and then you kick it straight back out. Then you have the standing front leg extension, which is just like the standing knee extension. You just turn around and wrap the band around your ankle instead. Then we have supine knee extension, which is similar to the hip extension, except for kicking out, you kick straight up. And then we have the standing stork TKE, which stands for total knee extension. It's just like the standing knee extension, except for this time you're just on one leg. Here's a couple pictures like I showed you before, the knee extension, then we have the hip extension, and then we have the standing stork TKE. So some possible side effects you may get from this is just some muscle fatigue, soreness, and a little bit of pain. You don't want too much pain because that's really bad, but if it's just a little bit, you're okay. This is absolutely completely normal and natural, especially using muscles that you may not have used in a while. But if you just keep pushing through and keep doing it, then it'll eventually go away and you'll be okay. So in conclusion, resistance bands are just a great total body workout. You can do it at home. You can do it at a gym. You can do it basically anywhere. They're very efficient on trying to pinpoint muscle areas. They're simple to use, and they're just really easy, cost efficient, and everything else. So if you have any comments, just comment it on YouTube, and I'll try to get back to you on that one. And then these are the resources that I use.